Saint Maud is written and directed by Rose Glass. It stars Morfydd Clark and Jennifer Ely. Saint Maud tells the story of a nurse who becomes a devoted Christian after experiencing something traumatic in her past. She eventually starts to look out after a dying patient, and she becomes dangerously obsessed with saving the soul of this dying patient. I was very excited for Saint Maud for a couple of reasons. I thought the trailer was very impressive. A24 is a film company that I love. They distribute a variety of movies that range from action, comedy, drama, horror, coming of age, you name it. And Saint Maud looked like it was going to be another home run from that company. I remember this film being delayed a couple of times because of COVID. I saw the trailer for this movie in late 2019, a bunch of times in early 2020, and it's been delayed a number of times. And the more times it got delayed, the more excited I was for it. So I finally got to see the film, and what did I think of it? Well, I thought Saint Maud was excellent. Before I review this movie, I want to emphasize something. This movie is being marketed as a straight up horror film. I've seen some reviews compare it to The Exorcist and haven't seen the film. I just want to say that this is kind of misleading. This is far more of a psychological drama and a character study of a religious fanatic rather than a straight up horror film. I don't mind that because I love character studies, but I just want to say that because if you go in expecting 2021's The Exorcist, you're going to be disappointed. But like I said, it's its own thing, and its own thing is awesome. The first thing I want to talk about in regards to this film is the director, Rose Glass. This is Rose Glass' first movie, her directorial debut. Now, I'm not going to lie to you guys. I already knew that before watching this movie. But hypothetically speaking, if I were to watch this movie without knowing that fact, and someone were to tell me that this is from a first-time director, I would not believe you because the way Rose Glass directs this film, it's like you would think she'd be directing for decades. And I mean that in the best way possible. I was very impressed with what she did behind the camera. The cinematography is really impressive. This is a very well shot movie. I was impressed with the long takes, with the wide shots, the technique of consistently following the character Maud, who is a nurse. And that kind of technique can be a disaster for other filmmakers, but with Rose Glass, she really utilizes that technique very well. But beyond the technical aspects, I was mostly impressed with how she told the story. I mentioned that she wrote the film as well, and she tells the story of a nurse who is a very tragic character. I don't know about anybody else who watched the film, but watching this movie, I felt so bad for her because you could see that she's so isolated from everyone, and she's just so alone and so guilty. And the way Morfydd Clark plays her definitely helped because she is so incredible in this film. I don't know what it is with A24 horror psychological drama films that have lead actors that always gives it their all. They give such incredible performances, but they always seem to get ignored by the Academy. And I feel like that's going to be the case with Morfydd Clark. In any case, I thought she was absolutely compelling and she was terrific. Sometimes she was terrifying. She played this character so well. She definitely plays this character mysteriously because the film opens up with a moment from the past. You don't really know what happens, but you can tell something's not right. And then the film starts to go on and you get to see this character as this normal person, I guess you could say, but you know something is not entirely right. In any case, Morfydd Clark, she's great. I'm probably mispronouncing her name, but I've already mentioned I'm an ignorant American when it comes to other names. I'm sorry. In any case, Jennifer Ely, I think that's how you say her name. Like I said, she's also terrific. What I loved about her, she plays Amanda. She's a character who the nurse looks after. She was a dancer who gets diagnosed with a terminal illness. And I thought she did great. What I loved about her character in particular was how different she was from the nurse, because the nurse is a devoted Christian who lives a certain way. She is very serious. She doesn't really live life to the fullest, and she's isolated, while you have Amanda, who is the complete opposite. Despite the fact that she's dying, she's living life to the fullest. She really doesn't give a shit, if I'm being honest. She's kind of a bitch to the nurse unnecessarily sometimes. You give her a pass, though, because she has a terminal illness, and, you know, who knows? Maybe if I had a terminal illness, I'll be pissed off all the time, too. In any case, watching these two characters, how they interact, and their scenes are very fascinating. And without spoiling anything, because of how different their personalities are. It starts off as like a fascinating and kind of entertaining watch, but as the movie goes on, it starts to become a little more sinister, and I'll just leave it at that. But it's still fascinating regardless. I thought this film, like I said, it's such a fascinating character study. You really get to see who Maud is as a person, how she starts to develop. And the third act is where the horror elements start to come in. Because, like I said, I would consider it more of a psychological drama rather than a straight up horror film. But in any case, when the horror elements come in, damn, yeah, it had me shook. I'll say that for sure. Would I say this movie is scary? Not necessarily. It definitely got under my skin at times. And the third act, as I mentioned, especially the final shot, they really stuck with me. If anything, I would say this is more of a character study, like I said, on someone who is very guilty, very isolated, but it's still so fascinating. I want to say that this film takes its time. This film, really focuses on Maud, and you really get to analyze and see how she is as a character. Because of that, I can see some people saying that it's too slow. This movie is actually 83 minutes long. It's a lot shorter than I expected, but I wish it was longer, not only because I was invested in the story, but because I think it could have benefited a little more from developing some more things. Like, for example, I would have liked to have seen more I would have liked to have seen more scenes of Amanda and the nurse. These two interacting, they were definitely the highlights of the film. So I think having some more scenes would have benefited the movie. I also wish we got some more of the past of what happened with her, because it's a little weird with me, because I appreciate the fact that it doesn't go that Hollywood way of just having a character sit down and explain everything that happens and making it kind of lazy in that way. But at the same time, I kind of wish I knew a little more about the past. I just think it would have been more beneficial to the film. That's just me, though. I know not everyone agrees, but I still think this is an excellent film. Another home run from A24 for sure. If you have the channel Epics, definitely give this a watch. But like I said, going with the mindset that this is not The Exorcist, A Nightmare on Elm Street. This is Saint Maud. It's its own thing, a psychological drama that is sinister, great, and very much worth your time. I'm going to give Saint Maud a 9 out of 10. I loved it. I thought it was great, and I wish I saw it in theaters. I saw it at home, which was a great experience, but I feel like watching this on a big screen would have been more impactful. I'm telling you, the theatrical experience and watching it at home is not the same. Man, the theatrical experience is always better. For me, it's always better. And I wish this was one of those movies I got to see on the big screen, but at least I got to see it. So there is that. Thank you guys for watching the review of Saint Maud. I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and we'll take it into consideration if you want to see the film or not. The next review I will be doing is Batman Beyond. If you guys remember, I reviewed the Batman animated series a couple of weeks ago. I love that show so much that I wanted to watch Batman Beyond because that's a continuation of that show. I finished Batman Beyond, and I'm going to review that soon. Until next time, guys, take care. Depending on where you live, if you have bad weather, only travel if necessary. Stay home if you can. I know with this quarantine, staying home sounds monotonous and boring, but trust me, your safety is more important than anything. Or if you live somewhere like Florida, or a place where it's summer, well, enjoy the weather and watch some. And if you can go to the theaters, go to the theaters, I guess. But in any case, take care. I'll see you guys next time, and have a great day.